Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer, of course. Coach, I find myself in some uncharted waters here today because I got thinking about this, and I'm not real sure what to say about that weekend, except for the fact that I'm going to try to stay as positive as I can. And the fact that you come away with two big wins, scored a lot of goals, some great things happening over the course of the weekend, with Seibel becoming the franchise leader in wins. Your personal record for wins in a season. Wings tied the all-time wins overall in the league. So there's a lot of positives to take away from the weekend. I thought it was kind of interesting because going into Friday night, in our pregame, I talked about how the Wilderness were the fifth least penalized team in the league, and that it was going to be important to take advantage of the power play opportunities when they were there. And then you end up having 12 power plays and 5 power play goals of those 12. Lot of scoring going on. Let's start with Friday, though. Friday, again, a 7-1 win and a lot of positives. A lot of transition was working. There was a lot of good things happening in Friday's game as a staff. What did you guys think of Friday night?
Yeah, we were really happy, especially with our depth in that game. Our depth showed up right from the start. Our guys just, they're really ready to play that game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they tied it right away pretty quick after we went up there. But again, we just went right back at it. And you're right, our transition, our D were really good in Friday night's game. They had that puck moving, and our forwards were on top of them in a hurry. And obviously, we were around the net quite a bit. And we were really happy with our game on Friday night. Especially, you never know how it's going to go, being on the road so long. So, but I thought our guys punched the time clock and really went to work.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way to me. And as you said, balanced scoring. You had a big energy night from guys like Manti and Gaffney. I mean, just all over the place, really, that were putting in a lot of work, even away from the play and so on. We move on to Saturday. A 7-2 win. The Wilderness, Minnesota scored first, but that was about it. After that, it ends up, of course, being 7-2. But the Wings again really took control of that game. There were 3 power play goals in that game. Penalty kill was 100% on the whole weekend. A lot of weird things going on Saturday's game, but either way, you come away with a win. Again, 7-2. From the hockey standpoint, what did you take away from Saturday's game?
Well, I mean, it was one of those games that finally, when the officiating caught up to the type of game that it was, we were rewarded for being a disciplined hockey team, and we had a great game with Jake Goldowski. Mm-hmm. Getting in there on the score sheet 3 different times, and I thought that whole line with Will Arquette and Mann and Reeder jumping in there on the left side was a big line for us. And obviously the play of Matsui's line is a difference. But when I got on the bus, I wasn't happy. But once I got home and seen my kids, I forgot all about the mess that was started there in Cloquet.
Yeah.
But I thought our guys handled it really well. For the most part, they were disciplined. They didn't go back at them. I was very surprised about the game plan, the approach to the game plan against us. I was during the week I was prepared for a fast, skilled hockey team, and when I left there, I kind of shook my head because we've already learned when you play that style of hockey against the Aberdeen Wings, we're probably going to put up 14 goals on you.
Yeah,
and we did. So I was really proud of the way our guys handled it. We got out of there with no injuries. They stuck up for themselves, and we were focused the whole game. Even though all that stuff was going on, our guys just kept going and going and going and going. And I love to see that in our group. There's just not a whole lot of fear.
Yeah. No fear, and like I've said before, I've said it in the broadcast. There were actually a handful of times in the broadcast where I actually said I have been at a loss for words. I did not know how to even describe some of the things I was seeing, but I go back to the fact that, as you mentioned, when that style, when the people start deciding to play that way against us, it just seems like they forget or lose focus on the game itself and what the ultimate goal is, to score goals and win. And the Wings don't do that. The Wings focus on what is the important part of the game. And like you said, that's when it seems like the scoreboard really starts to ring. So it was, as you mentioned, big weekend for Goldie. 5 points overall. He had 2 assists on Friday night, and again, balance all over the place. I talked about Cybele becoming the leader for wins for the franchise with 41. His play has been outstanding. What do these records and milestones mean to you? I know we touched on it a little bit last week about the fact that you're approaching, now tied the all-time wins, but all-time points could be surpassed as well. I mean, as a franchise, that's got to be pretty special.
I think it's a huge deal. I think the way this program has continued to get better every single year since they established themselves. You look at a record like Jake Cybele. Could you possibly imagine that with the season Matt Vernon had?
No, that's very true.
And I mean, that season Matt Vernon had was really special. He did some special things and he broke some records. And when I look at Cybele's record, and I always think back to Matty Vernon, and obviously Matty did something that this organization never did, win a cup.
Yep.
Jake has surpassed all of that. Now he just needs to win that cup to kind of put the stamp on it. But it's an amazing record. I mean, and then you look back at the league being established in 1973, and no one's ever gotten to 50 wins, and 49 is the number, and we've found a way through a very difficult season, very interesting season, to match that number. And I think that's extremely special for this group to be able to attain something that has only been done a couple times since 1973.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not done yet. We would like to put our name on that sheet for someone else to try to attain that goal. And I think our guys are going to have a great week of practice, and we finally get to play in front of our own fans, which seems like even though we had 2 dropped in there, we just feel like we've been on the road a lot. So it's going to be an exciting weekend for our guys to get home in front of their crowd and have something to play for.
Yeah. And to let the appreciation be shown for the hard work on the road and stuff too. I mean, regular season, only 1 road loss all year. That's just, that in itself is astounding. And like you talked about with Cybele, I mean, Vernon had 40 wins and obviously won it's almost like seeing, a world champion racehorse come, and then here comes Seabiscuit, and you're going, what? How do you have 2 guys that are competing at that level? And it's just amazing. As you mentioned, at home this weekend. Let me run through the standings real quick. Of course, the Wings top of the division with 99 points, 49 wins, as we talked about. Bismarck with 64. Minot with 54. They clinch a spot with the overtime point in the loss to Bismarck over the weekend. And then it's the Wilderness with 48. Austin now with 48 after beating St. Cloud yesterday. St. Cloud with 45 at the bottom of the division. Austin and St. Cloud close out the regular season head-to-head. So that's going to be awfully tough for St. Cloud. It's looking I would say that it's looking like they're out, is what I'm trying to get at. The Wilderness actually have a game in hand. They play the Steel midweek, and then they will take on Bismarck the rest of the weekend. Of course, the Wings have Minot. Minot, as I mentioned, has clinched, so they come into the ODI Center. The Wings are motivated. Obviously, Minot's going to, teams love to give somebody a crap sandwich, so to speak, to not let them be the ones that a record is set on or whatever. So, what's the game plan for Minot on the weekend? Just more of the same?
They're always a tough opponent.
Yeah, they are.
They really get up to play us. There's some aggression there against us, and they keep it tight. And obviously their goaltending is very good, and they're going to be a tough opponent. And I think they believe that that we could see each other at some point in the playoffs. So they're going to want to make sure that they send the message. But there has to be, for us, playing tough games down the stretch, especially to end the season. It's just perfect for us because it's not going to get any easier once we get in the first round and we're battling these teams because they're all good hockey teams. But Minot's got a lot going for themselves, and they got guys that can hurt you on the score sheet, and obviously they play us really physical. They like to be physical against us.
Yep.
So, but again, our guys haven't let anything stand in their way since day one of training camp. So, like I was talking to Mr. Odie today, and I said, I just have complete faith in these guys. They have set the goal. They know what they want to do, and no one has gotten their way yet. And to me, Minot's going to have to play a heck of a game in order to stay in the game with this group of guys.
Yeah. And it just feels like I'm repeating myself all the time, but it just goes to show that adversity, they just keep, like you said, finding a way, to get to rise above whatever it is. And that is a testament. That is really saying something about the character of the guys in this locker room, the discipline and dedication that they have for each other, for the W on the sweater, and just everybody. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's the big one there is for each other. They seem to really care about one another. In the entire, when you watch them together on the bus or in the hotel or at dinner, they care about one another.
Yeah.
And they care about each other on the ice. They take care of each other on the ice. So I think that's special. It shows you the leadership and the type of guys that we were able to bring in here this year. So we look forward to the weekend. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting, and there's a lot going on with Parents Weekend, and kids get to kind of see their parents that haven't seen their parents in a long time, and then we'll finish the weekend with the awards banquet, which is always a great time.
Absolutely. And I'd be remiss in not saying that it all starts at the top too when it comes to dedication and playing for each other. So that's a big compliment to your coaching staff and all of the Wings organization. Coach, that's all I've got. Just wanted to focus on the positives over the weekend for the most part, and of course what this group is able to achieve with some great play this weekend at home. So thanks so much for taking some time, and best of luck against Minot.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll return with our second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
How you move matters. Avera Orthopedics helps you move freely and live life to the fullest with innovative treatment options customized to your bone, muscle, and joint needs. Whether you suffer from aches, breaks, tears, or dislocations, turn to the orthopedic team experienced in treating every body.
We continue on with the second portion of Wings Weekly, and as promised, a player is joining me, as usual anyway, and this time it's the number 20 of Jake Goldowski of Thornhurst, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for coming on, Jake.
Thank you for having me.
Big weekend for you. I want to talk about your hockey journey, what brought you to the Wings, some comparisons and different things like that. But at first, I wanted to talk about the weekend because, again, two assists on Friday. You had a hat trick on Saturday. Your family came and was able to be a part of that. Your birthday weekend, Mother's Day weekend, all this stuff. And it was great that your family was able to take part of that and then be there for that hat trick too. So that was pretty cool. And then, like I said, your birthday weekend, a lot going on. Talk to me a little about that. About having family that was able to come. That support system, we've talked, every time I talk with players, I talk with them about, from a very early age on, hockey moms are a huge part.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And very important. And you've got another big cheerleader, too. And your sister, I was mentioning off camera that I had a chance to talk with her a little bit, and it is very easy to tell how proud she is of you.
Oh, yeah, she's a great sister.
And, she was talking with me quite a bit about your play and when you got started and all this stuff, and how she was a figure skater, and you were like, and I was just watching her talk, and you could just tell that she's like, I'm so proud of my brother,
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But tell me a little bit about how that feels to be able to put up a hat trick on the scoreboard with your family there. First game they've got to see in person as a Wing, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I mean, they came up, they drove their 18 hours from Thornhurst, Pennsylvania, and they didn't complain once. They were just so excited to see me, just excited to just hang out and just see me, because they didn't see me since September, Labor Day weekend.
Right.
So it's been a long time, and obviously I didn't go home for Christmas break. I wasn't here at the time, so I know a couple guys did, and I wasn't, but I came here in January, and they were happy just to see me, and moral of it was good energy, good vibes, and it was just a great weekend.
Yeah, good vibes for sure. Well, and you led up to that. You came in January. You've been in different levels of junior hockey and hockey for a long time. National U18 team, played for the Saginaw Spirit, the Dubuque Fighting Saints in the USHL, the OHL, now the North American League with the Wings. I wanted to get your take on a couple of things. One, the style of play from different leagues. How does it compare to the North American League? And then I wanted to kind of get your take, and Coach Langer and I were just talking about the dedication to each other in this locker room, playing for each other and so on. And you being one of the latter additions, like you said, in January, I wanted to see if you've ever played on a team where there's this much chemistry and a team that just gels like this one does. So let's start with the style of play for other leagues. Is it different at all?
Oh yeah, I mean every league's different. You got your different types of players and stuff. Every league's different. Obviously, I would say this type of game is more of a college game because you got more college commitments, and obviously OHL is more skilled. They want to go pro right away. It's all different, but overall, it's about how dedicated you are to the game and what you want to do and how you want to. Your goal to be a hockey player. And overall, I think this year, especially this year, it's a weird year with the COVID season and college kids coming down to go to the USHL and then USHL kids coming down to the NAL. And this year, I think it's actually one of the better years that the NAL has been in a long time. So I think, especially that year we're having this year, and going into your question of how close we are and all that, you could just see 49 wins doesn't happen if you're not close.
Yeah.
So that chemistry has been there ever since I stepped in, and it's just been good vibes.
Yeah. You know, and Coach Lang, I remember back to early on in the season, I mean, in the first week, and we talked about the transition game, and Coach Langer's kind of known for that. But this year, even he said that it surprised him at how quickly this team bought in and how the transition game was so quick. I don't want to say so quick, but so quickly adapted, maybe is a better way to put that. But, you know, and then I thought it was kind of interesting because I was in Cloquet, of course, and talking with some of the Wilderness off-ice officials, and one of them was saying, he's like, one thing I got to tell you, it's just fun to watch those guys. He said the passing, the way they move the puck, he's like, it's, no-look passes between the legs and stuff, and he goes, you can tell that they know where each other's going to be and stuff. And I thought, that's interesting that it's not just our locker room that can see it, but other people in other buildings and stuff can see that chemistry too. And it's certainly important, but I don't think it's all that common. Have you played on teams before where there's been that level?
Honestly, my 1 year, I would say my 2018 year, we were a very good group, and we made it all the way to Western Conference Finals, but lost. But honestly, I could say I've never been as much as chemistry as we have. Maybe it's because we're all older. We all wanted the same goal, but I just feel like we all gel and we all know we all can produce at a certain point. And if someone's down, we pick them up, no matter how.
Very cool. I mean, like I said, I know it happens. It just doesn't seem like it happens. It's not an easy thing to achieve, I think, and sometimes it's just all about, putting pieces in the right places, so very cool. I talked with Coach Langer about some of the records that have been set already this year, also that are on the cusp of being set, or at least potentially could be set. What does that mean to the players? I talked to Coach about it, what it means for a franchise and for a staff and organization. How about an individual player? Does that mean something to be part of a team? Well, I'm sure that's kind of a rhetorical question because I'm sure it means something, but how does it feel to be on the edge of that you could be part of a team that is the all-time winningest and having the all-time most points in the North American League, as Coach said, going back to 1973.
It's crazy. I mean, we couldn't imagine just only having so-and-so wins and points at, January, but we have 20-something. You couldn't imagine we were at 49 now, and it's just, you're so close. We just need to get that final step, that final push. We don't want to be like everyone says, a little Tampa Bay Lightning action. We don't want that. We need that 51 wins, and I think we're going to get it this weekend.
And then, of course, to go on to the first round of the playoffs. We're not sure who that will be just yet, but either way, the Wings will be preparing for that first round. Wanted to talk with you a little bit away from hockey. You've been on the show earlier this year, so we talked a little, about hobbies and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I got to thinking about was 10 years down the road, take hockey out of the equation. I know that's hard for you guys to imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But take that out of the equation. What is your dream job? What do you see yourself doing, or what do you want to be doing in 10 years if hockey is removed, or if I'm taking that out? It's not an option.
Ever since I was a kid, because my mom was always working the courts and all that, I've always wanted to be more of a cop or a detective. But I don't know. For me, it's more of what can I do? Doesn't matter dream job. It's what can I do for my family to proceed in making money for them and my kids and all that. So
Sure. All about providing for them.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Minot comes to town this weekend. Obviously, a team you guys have played on several occasions and are very familiar with. As a group, what do you have to do to prepare for Minot as they roll into the Odie this weekend?
Honestly, I think we need to keep the game plan. Obviously, we have all year is just get pucks deep, get to the net and transition very well, break out well, everything that involves the whole ice. But obviously, I think we have 2 losses against Minot. We've probably lost the most of them, so it'll be bittersweet. We need to give them a little shove to show, hey, we're still the best. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, Jake, I won't keep you much longer. Like I said, I know we've taken your time already once this year, so I didn't want to go back over the same things we've talked about. But I thought it was interesting, and I always like to get a player's perspective. And oftentimes from observing or even talking with coaches, there's a little bit of a difference when it comes to one of the guys that actually wears the sweater. So I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us a little bit about what this all means and about your fantastic weekend there in Cloquet. And it was great that you were able to spend some time with your family as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, folks. Let's see, a couple of big nights coming up. Regular season home finale weekend and it's Parents Weekend. Friday, May 14th versus the Minot Minotauros Law Enforcement Appreciation Night. All law enforcement officials will receive free admission. $15 corporate bar stool seats are available. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852. Player autographs in the lobby after the game. Saturday, May 15th versus the Minot Minotauros. Parents and billet social in the corporate area. Player jersey auction following the game. If you have printed tickets, you will use tickets from January 22nd and Friday and January 23rd on Saturday. Important upcoming dates: awards banquet May 16th, first round home playoff games Friday and Saturday, May 21st and 22nd. More information on tickets will be available soon. Doors open at 5:30 and the puck drops at 7:15. Get your tickets now at tickets.aberdeenwings.com. $10 general admission tickets are also on sale now at any of the 4C Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Corporate night sponsorships are still available for home games throughout the playoffs. Call Aaron at 605-380-3852 for more information. And don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episode on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Once again, Jake Goldowski, thanks so much for coming on the show. And again, congratulations on that awesome hat trick on Saturday night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, that'll do it for this week's Wings Weekly.